to Shapeshifters of Rathe. We've got some familiar faces and an extra face that nobody would have seen before because he's always been behind the camera. So we have Eser from Germany, the newest recipient of a Taylor card, who's quickly catching up on our illustrious leaders that are Rachel in the bottom corner, Rachel down here as well, who was also our judge for the Barcelona event. And we have Chris, the Red Flash. He was at Barcelona and took some very gorgeous pictures and like video style pictures of a lot of our cosplayers. So he's here as a part of the community supporting us as cosplayers. So the big subject of everybody's mind, we're going to talk about Worlds first off. How everyone found it. Who wants to start chiming in? Rachel, you got there quite early, didn't you, being part of the judging team?
Yeah. I got there, I think it was Tuesday we got into Barcelona. I had a great time, a couple of days to explore the city with my husband. And then it was hit the ground running on pretty much Wednesday night and thereafter, getting all of my costumes prepped since I brought quite a bit with me and getting ready for the whole weekend. So it was absolutely a blitz of a weekend, really a blur, a lot of costume changes, a lot of hard work, but I think it went very well and I had an awesome time at Barcelona.
So Eser, you came in a little bit later. It was a bit of traveling for you. How did you find getting all those things into the cases? Did you smuggle some into someone else's case?
Well, I did bring 2 large suitcases, a little bit less than Rachel, but still a lot. And I only booked one of them and realized later it's not gonna fit a small carry-on. So I checked the prices and was like, 135 euros for one extra suitcase? Nah, thank you. Luckily, my girlfriend was traveling from the same airport and she just checked my other suitcase in for me. Oh, that's good. But I think I actually came the same day Rachel came for like judge stuff. There was a judge cup and a judge conference the day afterwards, and then Worlds happening.
So could you tell us a little bit about the Judge Cup and conference? Because that's something not a lot of people know about. And I know it's a side note, but it's just as important.
The like judges, when we have big events like this, we have often a conference before to get like new rules changes in, or to practice skills and to get ready for the weekend. And a new thing was the on Wednesday there was the Judge Cup where like judges from all over the world played in, I think, like from 22 countries, if I remember correctly. And for pretty good prices, a free event where you got to play, because playing is important to, know the rules, understand the game better.
Yeah. Cool. That's awesome. So Chris, you came with a mission. So you're part of a creative team. So tell us a bit about what your mission was when you came to Barcelona.
Yeah. So about a month out of Barcelona, a month before Barcelona, I was sat at home and I thought, you know what? Flights aren't that expensive, and my mate's got an accommodation that he's got a room in, so we're going to go. We're just going to go to Barcelona. We're going to have some fun. We're going to play some side events, just enjoy the experience, really. And then similar to Nationals, when my mate who runs the Cardboard Swords channel, he can attend because he didn't get an invite. I said, "Do you want me to vlog it?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure, if you feel like it." And then so coming up to Barcelona, I thought, well, do you want me to vlog it again? So I did. That's up now. And while I was there, I round one of the calling. So I'm a competitive player at heart rather than a cosplayer personally. So I thought I played the calling, and round one I sat next to the green unsword cosplayer who cosplayed Melody. And I thought, oh, that's really cool. Conveniently, I had the cold foil Melody in my binder as well, because my mate asked me to sell his while at Worlds. So I thought, oh well, this is perfect. I'll get the card out, we'll get a photo. And I thought, well, this will be some good B-roll for the vlog, because my nationals B-roll was absolutely awful because I kept forgetting to take any. So I thought, oh, this will be really good to go in between like the clips of me summarizing my round. So I got a clip, and obviously that's where I saw Eser as well. So I thought, oh, that's really cool, Brevin. It matches really well. I thought, well, I'll get you as well. And then there was a Katsu as well, and then a young Eser. I was like, well, you're all here. It'd be rude not to. It'd be rude to ask one cosplayer for a clip and not everyone else. So I got everyone, and I was like, well, this has kind of turned into a mission now. So I made sure whenever I saw,
collect them all.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta collect them all. And I'm really annoyed because there is one I'm missing, which is Rachel's Data Dog cosplay. I saw it on the Sunday, but I was in day 2 of the calling, so I didn't have time to come up and ask for a clip. And then before I knew it, the day was over. So I've always got to miss that. I'm always missing that one. But yeah, so I ended up. Obviously, the calling was over, luckily, by the time the cosplay contest started. I think I missed the initial couple. So I came over, I got some clips of people on stage, and then I thought, well, they're all just there standing around. I'm like, I felt a little bit awkward because I didn't want to like inject myself, but I kind of was like, screw it. So I went up, and one by one, as they came off stage, I gave them obviously a few minutes to breathe. It's obviously, I'm sure it's nerve-wracking being on stage in front of all those people. Then I was like, excuse me, can I have a 5-second clip of the cosplay? And that was really good. So yeah, and that ended up being my mission, and I'd say mission accomplished.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find, because I have the ability to screen share the video to show.
Chris, the next time you're coming to an event, you have to tell us also that we can not only like to post, but like to post in motion.
Yeah, that's the thing. That next time I'm at a big event that has a cosplay contest or has cosplayers, I think I want to direct it a little bit more and like sort of get you guys moving and a bit more dynamic. Obviously, this is the first time I was ever even considering doing this, and I've had so many compliments of the videos. Oh, these look sick. These look awesome. I'm like, it's just on my phone. It's just a Google Pixel phone. But it turned out well, and that's all you need really at the end of the day.
Yeah, can't see it right now, but I'll definitely.
For?
Oh, I was just trying to pop one in, but it's not allowing me. Access the bar, reload this page. Ah, that's what the problem is. It's the page. But that's okay. But I will definitely be popping them in the end roll. I'll pop some secret spice for people to find, but they can find more of that on the cardboard swords.
Yeah. So cardboard swords. My mate bought a T-shirt to send me the worlds with the Friday before. Yeah. So the vlog has a few of the clips, and then there is a separate video going up on the Tuesday, which probably comes out, which will probably be up by the time this comes up. That will be just a cosplay video. So it's got a few clips from while we're waiting for judges. It's got all the clips I recorded, and yeah, it's pretty sweet. Yeah, shout out to Rob for that.
Okay, so I'm going to pop up a video of, it's just photos that got popped into our Discord, and we can just chat about how everyone's experience were with the cosplay competition. So it's just going to play along now. So these were some really cool photos that were dropped in Discord that made it great for me because I was at home. So I didn't get to see these. I did in fact get to put a video up as part of the coverage breaks. So there was a video of me, if you caught me, sitting in this little office backing the cosplayers. I think I mentioned Eser and Melody, telling people to watch out for their cosplays that they had, that they were pretty special. And also backing Yuki, but unfortunately she dipped out in the top 8. But yeah. So how did we feel about the day? I mean, there's some cool photos through here. Eser, how long did you end up wearing your costume for?
I came to the venue at around 10. And until after the contest, I was wearing the cosplay. It was heavy. It was sweaty. I would not wear it in the summer. I'm lucky that Usuri, the young Usuri, helped me carry around my stuff a bit.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you've got a hammer and a shield, there's no space for bag to play. I played the whole weekend, so you know, on Sunday I didn't bring the shield for that reason.
Yeah, it's a beautiful picture you've got here with the professor. I'm glad you guys were able to pull that one off. That's really cool.
He was very excited. He was very excited for the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Go on.
Yeah, continue.
Yeah, I know Jodie from the UK. She won our Birmingham cosplay contest with the Ira cosplay. It was really cool to see the entire round the table represented there.
Oh, stop this one. So you guys saw the big tree in person. I was really intrigued with this one. Rachel, what was it like? Because I think you got to see it up close as well.
Yeah. I think he made it out of like paper and cardboard type materials because it was really, really lightweight for him to be slinging that around. But I did like his performance because he definitely made it seem like it was a lot heavier, more substantial, because obviously nobody's going to lug around a giant tree all day long of actual wood. So definitely a creative build. And that wig, I remember distinctly because it was, I believe, a lot of like hand knotted yarn, which was really
wow.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
He did a cool job. The tree was really cool, and definitely adds a nice theatrical effect to the whole thing.
Yeah, everyone I showed, because I was like showing photos, and I showed that one, and like, oh my god, that's just amazing! I can't believe someone did that. But that's the thing.
I just want to know how he got it there. I didn't ask that question. I didn't have a chance.
I mean, he was walking around with the tree like the whole day. I've seen him every now and then carrying this tree around.
I wonder if it's flat packable. That'd be interesting. If it folds in the middle and like rolls out.
I wonder too, like, because I didn't really look inside the middle of it, and I wonder if it's got like some sort of like stuffing or something that like comes out and it like folds. I didn't think about that.
Or did he just get there early and make it there?
Yeah, totally possible. I mean, there's a reason.
Also possible.
A lot of people leave props behind at conventions. Some of us make them in our room and can't take them home.
Yeah, I do believe there was a room full of feathers. I think we've just seen it. The angel
sleigh. Yeah.
No. She did do a little bit. The yellow.
Victoria, the
Victoria, Triumph, yeah. So
her wings expanded, right?
Yeah, her wings expanded, and I think Carolina's ones were fixed. It was nice to see some of the older costumes back in, and as Alicia says, if you don't win, you can bring them again. But I mean, I know for judging, I don't know how hard that made it for you, Rachel, if there was repeat ones, but
I think, in
the
case
hadn't placed.
Yeah, in the case of repeat items, that haven't won, I don't judge them any differently. Than if they had never been entered before and I'd never seen them. I mean, for me, this is my first time seeing this one in person. So for me, it's all new from that perspective. And I would just judge it against, the field that it's currently sitting in. So I wouldn't say it's any harder judging it. And if somebody, I'll put it this way. I know this became like a big to-do in the Discord. Of like, what constitutes winning before what, if we just say like, it's Taylor or whatever. I'll put it this way. If somebody showed up with something that they want to tailor before, I'm not going to tackle them off the stage. I'm not going to, not going to shame or DQ them in front of anybody. But obviously I would just mark that down on the paper as, can't win, DQ, but let them walk and let them enjoy themselves. So I have no problem with people participating in the masquerade. The only thing I would say is if people ever were to, and not that I think anybody would ever do this in our community. I think we got a great community. But if anybody were to ever try and sandbag, as it's called, and bring something that already won a tailor and re-enter it, it does make it harder on the judges in that the audience might not know that it's a re-entry. So they might say, well, why didn't that person place these terrible judges? You know?
Yeah,
I place them. But luckily, Dromai here, Dromai didn't have a tailor from a previous competition, so totally
yeah,
fine.
not for the exactly.
Yeah. Not
and
yet,
I think
doesn't yet have a
not
tailor.
Yet. Yeah,
Soon.
I think he's earned a tailor through doing the spring tunic. So he is a tailor winner.
Oh, that's
with
right.
The spring tunic.
But not with Dromai.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But not with Dromai. And I think there is an argument. If you have a costume you absolutely love, there's no reason why you can't take it and wear it on another day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because we all want to wear our costumes more times, right?
Yeah, that's what Jodie did. Because obviously Jodie winning the tailor in Birmingham with the Ira, I think she just brought it so that they could have that round the table photo. I think that's what I had heard.
We had an Ira that wanted to come, but you know, everything's expensive and she couldn't because of the cost. And then Jodie was like, I can't show with the cosplay I've made for the contest. So I was like, hey Jodie, you still have the Ira. Then we're like the round table again. If you bring it, we could take a picture. And she's like, oh yeah, that's actually a good idea. Let's do it.
Yeah. That was brilliant. Because I believe that as the Croatian cosplayer, she was just very upset. Well, not upset, but just not able to come. So
her name is it Valera? Am I getting
Valera?
That right?
Yeah.
Valera.
Yeah. So we'll continue with that.
Yeah, as a
there's Melody there.
Yeah, I think Melody was probably one of my favorites. I think Melody and the Pulverize were two of my favorites, just because the Melody is so accurate, and the Pulverize. I mean, he had a glowing fist. Like that's just cool. Anything with LEDs is to me like on a costume it just makes it infinitely cooler because it's like you go wire it up and it's just like I can't even imagine where to begin with that.
Did you not like the Polarized guy? That was his first ever cosplay.
Yeah, I heard about that.
It's insane.
I'm like,
here we go. There's Brethren.
The winner.
The winner.
The shield's the detail on the shield. I didn't notice it before, but like with this photo is really doing it justice of like just how much there is on it.
The art of the card, like if you have the card in your hand, it's very small. So I did ask the artist, hey, can I get like the big picture? And she's like, oh yeah, sure. And I showed her the finished product before everybody else. She's just like, oh my god, this looks so great. I hope you win. And I know after the contest, like James came over and was like, yeah, congratulations. Can I look at that shield? Even he was like, the details are.
He loves props. The couple of times I've run into him, I tried to convince him to wear my tunic, but he really loved my bow up in the background here. So he likes the.
I was going to say James.
Sorry. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah, I was going to say James definitely likes props. Like when I was asking him to sign something over the weekend, because obviously I can't stay in line if I'm being, guesting and walking around. I was like, hey, James, do you mind signing something? I had to set my symbiosis shot down, and he immediately like snatches it up the minute his pen was done and was asking his wife to take pictures of him with it.
Yeah.
He definitely loves them.
I think props are the coolest thing when it comes to cosplay, because then people who are getting photos get to like feel like they're cosplaying, because they get like they get to like hold them or like pose them, and it's really cool to like obviously you gotta be careful to make sure and someone's a bit careful with it, but yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to go back to the meep.
Oh, that was cool. He had a magnet in the.
I was wondering how he did that.
Yeah, I was trying to. I think there's a bit of a language barrier when I was talking to him, because I was trying to ask if he made the meep himself or had just found something similar.
Yeah, he like the cuts he took from another like plush or something and then made it into the meep.
Right. Okay. So kind of like a.
So he made it himself, but not the like parts of the
pattern. Transformed him.
Yeah, exactly. But the meep was so cute.
Oh yeah, it was
yeah. I was trying to get into the act in the front row in the judge spot, but I don't think anybody could see. But when he got out there in the first like mention of the meeps and coming for your like watch your stuff, like I picked up my gun off the table and went like this and clutched it like a baby, and I was like no, and I like backed up from the judges stand, and then when he said it there like in front of us, because he said it between me and Charmer, I went like this to the meep.
The Rainer before this, if you go back in the pictures,
Yeah, I can do that.
yeah, like you can't see it on stage because the stage was set in a way where you couldn't see the shoes.
Ah,
Oh,
His feet were amazing. He made like the shoes of himself, so he was wearing shoes, but they looked like feet, like green feet a Rainer would have.
that's
oh,
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
I unfortunately like there's a few cosplayers who I unfortunately couldn't get any tags for, whether they're because they're not in the Discord or they just don't have a presence. I think the Rhino is one that I haven't had a chance to get a tag or anything for.
Yeah, because he's got a lot of bones and fur. He's done quite a good job there.
Yeah.
And avoided being naked by having a nice green suit.
If someone turns up with just their whole body painted green, I think that's just commitment. That's just more commitment than I could ever imagine. I could not imagine painting myself green and being like that at a convention for the entire day. So, props to anyone who does that.
Yeah, that paint kind of body paint is fine for like doing a photo shoot, but if you wear it for extended time, you will run. Yeah.
When I saw all the green guys, I was like, I feel sorry for them because I painted myself green for Riptide and I did not enjoy that.
Mm.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the difference between a regular convention and a gaming event, especially if you are going to game as a cosplayer, is like thinking about the fact that I really don't want to get green paint. Does that count as a marked sleeve? Judge.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, because we are all players at heart. I think where is it? We're going there. Play through. There's our pulverize with the light on. There are better photos. I've got the LSS photos as well. The ones on stage are good to talk about. So this he said was his first cosplay, and I was seeing him chatting in the Discord, and he's pretty keen to do another one. This is amazing for a first cosplay, I feel. What do you guys think?
It baffles me. Because I assumed like this is like number 5 or something. Like just all the intricacies of obviously like the armor is just to me is like this your first one. I couldn't even tell.
I mean, I've seen a lot of pictures. Like in private, we would send off like progress, but like seeing when he walked out, like in real life with his real size, it was very intimidating. Not gonna lie, he was very intimidating.
He's tall.
And
He's really tall.
He was also very in character. It was a very nice experience having him on stage. I'm looking forward to what he does like in the future.
Yeah, Henrik reached out to me before he even, I think, started cutting any foam, like when he was just doing the concept of the costume. And so I got to see it all the way from, I'm thinking about doing this costume. How do I even base it? Like, what do I even put it on? How do I connect things? I don't know how to cosplay, all the way to the end. He stopped sending me progress once I was announced as judge.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I knew I was judging for a very long time, since July. So he's like sending me stuff, and I'm like, man, you're sending the judge all the details. Like, I love this.
Oh, so that's how he got top 4.
No, that's actually to probably do a disadvantage because I get to see all the skeletons in the closet. In a costume. But no, Henrik, when I first met him, was at one of the houses. I went to somebody's Airbnb to do a podcast recording for Data Doll and to do like that new podcast for Data Doll's Cafe. And so when I was there, a lot of different people were coming in and out. There's like 13 people in that house staying there. And so Henrik comes in. I knew it was him right away. He's huge. And I'm like standing there, and I'm wearing 4-inch heels, and he's still towering over me. He goes, give me a hug and say hi. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this guy is going to really pull off Pulverize. But he was talking to me the whole time he was making it about using stilts. And I was like, man, I don't think you need stilts at your height. I said, I think it's going to disproportion the costume. I'm glad he didn't necessarily go with lifts, because I think it worked fine.
I was told him, hey, just stand next to me. You will look like a giant.
Yeah, I tell everybody, get next to me and you're going to look a lot taller. So unless I'm wearing my heels.
Yeah, also, like, depends on what you're wearing. If you're wearing your suit, you're also giant.
Yeah, about 7 feet top out.
Yeah, this Bravo as well. He
Oh, yeah,
was
that
giant
Bravo,
as well.
yeah.
Like I'm a good 6'3", 6'4", and when I asked him to get a clip, I was like, fucking it. I was like,
That
jeez.
Bravo. Oh, yeah, he does look quite tall.
Yeah,
even
oh my God,
next
he's
to
so
our-
tall.
I think he's a
next to
good
our-
6'8", 6'9".
Oh, gone that too far. Wrong Bravo. It was nice to see the Bravo love, right? It was
Yeah.
a little bit of Bravo love.
I hate Bravo. I've played at the Armory every time we play CC because
Oh.
I'm a Dromai main, and the
Yeah.
Bravo matchup is a case of, well, can I get a board established before he starts hitting me with 11 dominate, crippling crushes?
Yeah.
But no,
I'm a Azalea main. I kind of get it.
yeah, I just
Yeah.
love the fact that I love the performances. Like some of the people really got into characters, like the KO. The KO was
Yeah.
so much energy. I was like, how do you do it, man? We've been here for like 8 hours, 10 hours. How are you this energetic?
And
I love this.
The KO was doing it the whole day. He wasn't cosplay from the morning. He was in his character the whole day.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
wow.
the KO's performance I saw throughout the day, and then on stage was really, what was an into the top 8 for sure. Like I was like, this guy, he has to place. Like, like his skit is so good. Like his energy. The dice. Did you guys get to see any of the dice he threw?
Yeah.
I saw him throw something. I didn't realize it was a dice.
He
It made a lot of sense.
It was a D6, and all sides were 6s, but like differently written. Like one is a 6, one was 6 points.
Yeah, like the claw mark.
Like 6 and stuff. Yeah.
I was laughing. He dropped him on the table, and I picked him up and started looking. I'm like, oh, this is too good.
No, it really came through on the video that Dear Mamada put up. So I mean, if anyone wants to see the full video, it looks amazing. To see everybody just on stage and when they come out, because these photos are great, but some well-timed photos, but they're not the same as seeing the video.
Yeah. Just a point I wanted to bring up before we get too far ahead is the pulverized Hendrik. There was a mic. There was a mic in the helmet, and I didn't realize it at first. When I was speaking to him with the helmet, I was like, "Oh, this is quite clear. He must be like raising his voice a bit." Then near the end, obviously, when you all went back on stage, he asked for a hand putting his helmet back on. As I'm putting it on, I'm like, "Oh, there's a mic. There's a mic here." I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Yeah,
that's a smart idea.
It didn't come across much on stage when you've got the other mic, because obviously it's not pointing wherever I don't actually know where the speaker was, but it's not obviously pointing where it was. But yeah, it's like it helped a lot, like hearing him.
I think he had it clipped to like his belt or something, because typically I think what he was using was like the same mic that a lot of what do you call it, like stormtrooper customers buy. It's like it's got like a little pack that attaches kind of off, so you can't see it, and it hides.
That makes sense.
Pretty cool.
Oh, nice. All right.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's where we were up to. So we've got the Arachne there, which I was amazed by watching the video. People need to watch the video because it was very cool. His performance was awesome.
Yeah,
we'll leave that secret there.
Yeah, my clip is very cool.
Yeah. Azuri, sadly I didn't pick it until because I don't look at young Azuri enough. So ashamedly I didn't pick it just from looking until someone pointed it out. But it is well done once you realize what it is.
Yeah, I didn't quite when I got the photo earlier in the day, I wasn't quite sure who it was. I was thinking it was maybe like a ninja. And then they said, "Oh, it's young Azuri." I was like, "Oh, that makes a lot of sense." Actually, now I'm thinking back to when I won the pre-release of it. Like, oh yeah, that does make a lot of sense.
I did love how like young Azuri has like braided hair, but obviously he doesn't have that long hair, so he braided his beard.
Yeah.
It's a nice little twist, and we see a lot of gender bends, and this is kind of it's simple but effective, I think.
Yeah, some people just want to cosplay the hero they want to, so I mean, it just shows that it doesn't matter who you are, who they are. Just go ahead and do whatever you want, and if it looks good, we'll applaud.
And that also looks comfortable to play in, to be honest.
Oh yeah, I think out of all the cosplays, that's probably like that one is probably the most comfortable because it's basically just regular clothing and a dagger. But it pulls it for how simplistic it is. It pulls off really well in person. This picture does not do it justice.
How did you feel about? I mean, there was a couple of gender bends, Rachel. What that we're used to seeing the females doing the male characters, but it's nice to have the other way around. What do you think?
No, I think it's fun, and I think it's fun no matter how they do it, whether they're doing it as like, cosplaying as that gender, or cosplaying as a, an interpretation, i.e. gender bend. It's really fun, and it's always fun to see how they interpret things like the braid. If they don't have that, are they going to do a wig? Are they going full on character? Are they doing their interpretation of a character? So I think that's really cool. I'm actually doing my first, if I can get it done, I'm doing a speed run on a cosplay for next weekend or this coming weekend for the brawl. I decided to do it like a day ago. And it's a gender bend. It's my first one. So
cool.
Male character. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think it's really fun and really, really common in cosplay, which is awesome.
Yeah. I don't know what order they're in. So this is a young Icelander, and she seems to sneak into every cosplay. I think there's a lot of love for Icelander. I do like her light up prop. There's been some really cool props this time.
I from her cosplay, she has like the headpiece, the equipment on.
Oh yes, so she
standing beside her, like sitting next to her. I always thought this makes amazing sound. Like I can listen to this 1 hour ASMR because it was like all like glass, and when she's moving, they make sound.
Wow.
Wow. So that
would have been heavy.
Yeah, it looked heavy.
Yeah, because I've made one out of foam, and that was heavy enough without having actual glass in it. But that's good because you can't pick that up in the picture. It's such a shame.
Yeah, the Young Ice is one of the clips that I really wish I'd prompted them a bit more for some action, because obviously she just stands in the pose, and I think obviously going forward that's what I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try and obviously not push anyone to not do anything they're not comfortable with, but I think just a little bit of like a movement with the arms and like maybe like that wizard
so you can see more.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always suggest like, how about you do this, and then be like, oh yeah, that sounds good, or like, nah, I would rather not.
Eser's a resident expert on getting really cool poses. Well, our expert. Let's see. And that's the cut. So I liked his interpretation as well, making it like the hamstring shot. I was very happy that he felt that it was great that he was hit by a ranger.
I think he had the thing that could go in the chest, right? Like where that spot already. I think an arrow went in there.
Yeah, an arrow.
Some pictures.
I think he 3D printed like a socket where he can put like the stick of the arrow in, and he had one in his chest and like one in his leg, and it looked very real.
Oh, that's cool. I was wondering how he did that.
I think he was wearing the Japanese shoes as well. That there's wooden ones with the thing and the two, whatever they're called. The Jomai also wore those, and I look at them and I think, nah, I'm good. I'd rather walk barefoot than that.
They don't look the most comfortable, but I guess if you get the strapping right, they can be comfortable.
Look, I'm just going to say female cosplayers have been suffering for years. The vast majority of us are wearing 4.5-inch heels if you actually look. So.
Yeah. Yes.
Just going to say walking 3 days straight on 4.5-inch heels on a concrete floor is.
Yeah, I remember trying on some heels when I was like a 4-year-old child. I'm thinking, how does anyone ever wear these as like actual shoes? So you've got props from me.
I try to avoid heels when I can. I once couldn't walk for 2 days after doing exactly what Rachel said. So
I'm pretty hobbled right now. Like I wouldn't be surprised if I reopened a stress fracture, quite frankly, on my left. So we'll see. It's a little tight right now. But you don't think I won't be back in 4-inch heels this weekend.
Yeah. So this is another one. When she was asked why she chose Azalea, she said it was because she could sit down and play in it. I was like, okay, that's a good reason, but she's cool. I love Azalea, and I actually really like what she's done with the Death Dealer. It looks really cool. I'm gonna have to ask her what she made her arrowhead out of though, because mine, obviously it looks way better than my arrowhead, so I wanna make my one better. But she's done a brilliant job with this costume. We saw it. She's worn it to her local events in her area. I'm forgetting where her area is, but she's a European cosplayer, I believe. So, Brown Vixen.
Yeah,
got it.
Yep.
Yeah, the Azalea cult is strong. They will living legend her one day.
Yeah. At one stage, I was consistently doing quite well with her, but the ninjas always knocked me out.
Just fire 6 Reginald Edges, it'd be fine.
But yes, it's good to see the Ranger representation, and yeah, it's my personal love, so I'm happy that she was there. It's my little shout out to her. And then there's the one we've talked about him, so I've brought through to him. So, and this was another top 4, I believe.
Yeah.
Brilliant job.
I wish you could see it in person, because that picture really doesn't do it justice, like at all, in my opinion, because it's just, it's too far away and such, but like the level of detail and stitching and how well it was stitched, like she's in movement here, but when you see her walking around the floor, it's so well tailored. It looks like something you'd go out there and actually buy for an event or something if you're going to a fantasy event. It was wow. That's really what, I was shocked at. That's only like her second costume, I believe. Her first
think so.
Yeah.
I think one thing lost in translation is that obviously all these pieces of clothing are like mostly hand stitched, and I think that especially with this one, it doesn't come across like it is, but it is, and it is obviously what makes it so impressive.
Yeah. And that's what like the part about judging is too, is being able to see that kind of stuff, up close or behind stage, or talk to people off on the side. I knew my judging was going to be kind of tight time-wise for this competition, because they always are, and I don't get to like go down the line to everybody. So I tried throughout the day as much as I could to get around to the cosplayers while I was walking the floor in cosplay outside of official duties, whatnot. So whenever anybody came up for a picture, I'd talk to them about their costume and ask if they were in like the contest, and kind of be doing almost like subtle judging in a good way, not judgy, to try and get ahead of that. So I got to see hers a bit. And so I focused on her a lot in line, because I hadn't seen it before really, the contest, and it was just so elegant and incredibly done. So,
and like the fabric she chose for the cosplay was like the best possibly choice, because you can't see it in a picture, but like it, every time she moved, it was like shimmers green, like
gold.
Like it looked amazing. I don't think there'll ever be a greater spring tunic cosplay.
Oh
yeah.
Take the challenge, guys. Take the challenge.
Yeah.
I have a spring tunic, but yeah, I'd have to put my headphones down to move her into screen. Actually, I'll just do that.
So when she wins a tailor with this, does she have to shred it like all the gold coalfields? Honestly, that when I first started playing, seeing that was like, wow, they are dedicated to keeping these cards collectible. That's wild, because I come from a completely different game where they do not care. I'm just like, wow, that shows commitment to their players.
Mine's not quite as good, but it goes with my tailor costume, so just see it in the corner. But but hers is just amazing. I think every time I see there has been quite a few tunics done. Every time I see a new one, every time it's just a very good interpretation, and I think that this has been the best one I've seen yet. Yeah.
And she was like, when she was called to stage, she was like, "Are you sure?" She was very, very excited and did not expect it. And you're all like, "Go, you go up the stage."
Yeah, no, she was definitely in the top 8, and as we saw, she was in the top 4. So if she was shocked to get on stage, she must have been bowled over to be pulled forward in the top 4. But it's one of those things, and it's hard with there's so many judging categories and stuff. And I think at the end of the day, there's still a level of judgment to it. It's not just check box here, check box there. You got points, you win. And it's taking a step back and looking at the whole costume as well, and the detail and the quality. And so, when we were going back and forth, it was a very hard decision. You guys know how long it took us to come back out from this contest with our decisions. It was, I think, just her level of quality and stitching was just boosted her into that top 4.
You know what I was thinking? Like, if you got actually time planned to do some pre-judging throughout the day, the calculating the result also goes faster, because then you don't have to do all of that.
Yeah, it's a suggestion I've made. I had a conversation over dinner with somebody from LSS about, ways that we can continue to improve. Not to say it's already not great, what we do and all that. Ways we can continue to improve. But I think what also needs to be kept in mind is the problem is with a lot of the judges having different jobs too throughout. Pre-judging times can't be necessarily like they would be at a con, where like it's like from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. come at your convenience, and we'll just sit there and wait on you, So my suggestion I actually put in that conversation and in an email to this person was just saying maybe if we could arrange for an hour before, because we had it at Baltimore and then we never had it again.
In Antwerp, we also had some, like we were also called earlier, but.
And I think the difference is, I know we're getting a little off track, sorry, but I'm just going to say this. I think the difference is whether or not we have cosplayer judges. So like at US Nationals, none of the judges on the panel were like cosplay guests, because we didn't have like a cosplay guest there or anything. It was like all, I think we had a judge. We had, who knows their costuming and such, but we had a judge, we had casters. So what that meant was not that these aren't great judges or can't judge, but because they have their other primary responsibilities as like a game judge or as casters, they didn't have time to get there like an hour early and look at it. And even I, as like a guest, because it wasn't arranged ahead of time, I have things that I have to be doing. And so when I got over there, it's like, even though I got there early, it was just like, go, with a lot of, oh, look at here on the stage, look at that, and the direction of what they wanted for some of their filming and stuff, that they're talking to me about this. And I'm like, I need to get back there and judge people, like I told them I'd get here early, and you're over here talking to me about, no offense, I love them, but they're talking to me about, okay, and here's where we're going to sit, and here's how we're going to do this, and here's who's going to announce. I'm like, yeah, that's great. Let me go judge. So figure that out. But, I get it. And I think the thing with the contest is they've grown so exponentially so fast.
Yeah.
And this was our biggest one yet at 22, I believe.
There's so many people there.
But I don't think they expect it. And they're still small competitions. I think it just depends on the size of the event. And sometimes maybe we just need to think about. And so, like I said, I sent some suggestions along based on this conversation. It's like thinking about for larger events, making sure that you have X number of whatever cosplayer judges on the panel, and maybe they can go do some pre-judging on like things like quality, because the casters don't necessarily need to get back there and look at stitching or anything. No offense, I'm buds with these guys, but they're going to tell you, like, I'm not usually a stitch expert or something like that. So
yeah, I think it's quite important to have at least one judge who like is a cosplayer, because then that judge can sort of appreciate more of the hard work of, like, for example, the spring tunic. I think a lot of average people would look at that and think, oh, that's a cool cosplay, but that's not really a top 8 compared to like something like the Arachne Lashana. But obviously, like yourself, Rachel, like you can appreciate the effort that goes into stitching it and just making it in general, and obviously giving them that fair judging. I think it's hard obviously at some events, because some events, like the people who are the cosplayers want to cosplay and they want their chance to win the promos, so it's hard to find someone.
Both Carolina and I have judged, and we've talked about this back and forth for a long time about, is it more fun judging or is it more fun, it's more fun getting up on stage and competing. I'm just going to say it right now, it's far more fun being one of one of these individuals than it is to judge. Not that I'm not honored to judge and I didn't enjoy it. And I do it again and again and again. And the reason I would do it again and again and again is to make sure that we have that. And I'm not going to call myself an expert, but a level of expertise on the panel, because to your point about the Fiendel spring tunic, when it comes to judging, I think one of the most critical factors that can get left behind if you don't have a cosplayer judge is understanding difficulty versus quality. Because somebody looks at something and says, like, I'm going to use my costume as an example. I've had people say to me, wow, the mech was so much harder than both your other costumes. And I'm like, actually, Dash.io was the hardest costume yet. And nobody's going to appreciate that level of quality or know how smooth those seams are and all these different things that I did to it, because it's a smaller costume or it's not as huge or big as my mech unit. And so, but I know from a level of expertise of foam smithing of how difficult that costume is, or Data Doll versus the mech that's more visually impressive. So that's why I think we need that expertise in the panel, because you can't always like base these things just on quality or just on like stitching or anything like that. But there is a level of which, it starts to outweigh the other categories, and you need to be really cognizant of that. Like Eser, your costume was so well done. And that's something that we absolutely you want to take into account in judging. It's just like the fineness of the quality of the work you put in.
Yeah, I think I had this similar experience what you're talking about for Proto Lilver's cosplaying Benji, because it was a simple looking cosplay, but the sewing was very complicated and with the right materials. So people be like, why did he win and not the other flashy people?
Yeah.
Because they don't know the effort and the technique going into creating that kind of things.
Yeah, and I was really happy. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say I was just really happy to do it because there's I dip into just about every part of cosplay. So, while I may be more of an expert in foam smithing, I can sew. I've done sewing for Ren fairs, different costumes I've done before. So I'm know enough to be dangerous in those areas, is what I would say, to be able to judge and say, yes, this is obviously a machine stitching versus a hand stitching. Is this type of machine versus this type of machine? And to ask those types of questions to know, to get to understand, how they put it together and what their level of expertise is. So that's why I think it's important, to have that where possible. And I get it's not always probably financially feasible to invite a cosplay guest out. We can be expensive, dragging all those costumes. You do not want to know what the mech costs to get over there. But it's at the end of the day, it's important for at least these larger contests where you have the possibility that you're going to have this many contestants at this level of quality.
Yeah, I think my point onto Ezra's point of the X should have won over Y is when obviously the top four is being announced. I was recording it as well for myself. I fully expected the Pulverize to win because as cosplay adjacent, I was like, wow, that is big and impressive in the light. Wow. But then obviously I didn't appreciate things I heard later on, like the chainmail being handmade. And obviously some of these details that I didn't pick out when I first got that clip early in the day. I didn't notice that as just someone who is just looking and thinking, wow, that's cool. Wow, look at that lights up. Wow. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here. And obviously it's also completely dependent on the size of an event, right? Because the Birmingham cosplay contest was, I think, 4 people, and it was just the push the point guys judging. And I think I can't remember exactly who I know 3 of the 4.
4 or 6? Was it 4 or 6?
I thought it was 4. There might have
4.
been. It was 4. Yeah,
it was 4. Sorry.
Jodie on Ira. Guy called Dean on Lord Sutcliffe. Obviously, is it Dan?
Well, Dan was there, yes. Fine Dan,
Dan
yeah.
was the young Jeremiah. I can't remember the 4th one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, there was 2 Dromeyes at that one, wasn't there?
What event?
Birmingham. I think it was it Dromo or was it Kano? I think it was a Drake-Eye. It was one of the 3 Drake-Eyes, I think.
Yeah.
No, wait, in Birmingham it was Aether Flare.
Aether Flare.
Yes,
Aether Flare, that's the one. Yeah, sorry.
So that was actually, I think, the same person as Icelander here. I hope I didn't get
Yeah.
that wrong, but I think they're the same individual. Obviously, there was a mask underneath the flyer, so I'm not sure. But I want to say I might have read that in like the bio description, which I kept my judge sheets, you guys. I did, because I actually like it as a souvenir, but I also love being able to read people's stuff again, you know, and see how they did it as I'm going and looking through these pictures, because, you know, they do, some of them put a lot of description in there. And so it just, you know, for anybody out there, if anybody's watching that was in that contest, know that I put a lot of love into reading everybody's stuff as I was judging, as you guys were walking the stage, like speed reading.
That's the thing that I struggled with when I did mine, was like, what do I write here? Like, I could write a whole novel, or I could write
give some
a few
advice
words
on that from a judge perspective.
That would be lovely. Yeah.
So yeah, and as you know, I'm starting a channel next month, and one of my first episodes is going to be on like how judging works and stuff, and I want to help people with that. So what I would say is, for me, well, here's what's the problem is, they're going to read a lot of your stuff on stage. Like Flake is usually an MC, and he's going to read a lot of your stuff. So what I would advise personally is putting a short, fun description of like a sentence or two, like blah blah blah. Here's so and so, you know, and I love Bravo or whatever you want him to read on stage in the beginning, and then whatever room you have left, bullet points of the techniques you used and what you handmade and what it took. I know that's a lot to cram into a small section, but like that helps parse it out for like what Flake or whomever needs to read on stage. But then me as a judge, it's like I skip over that. I'll read that later for flavor or fun, you know, but like, or I'll hear him say it, but I want to read really quickly, you know, even though we talk during judging room, I see you on the floor, you know, what are some things I could have missed, you know, in your bullet points that it took you 500 hours to make chainmail links or something like that. And when he's on stage and reading that stuff, he's not necessarily going to read every bit of it. You know, he has to work the stage, the crowd, and he's trying to speed read fast. He's just getting those descriptions and running.
He told us, like, for the ones that put in like longer, like I think 5 words under the maximum that you could put in there, and he highlighted like the things he would want to read on stage.
Yeah, and he doesn't always get like that prep time too. Sometimes he's just handed the stage paper and, you know, slapped on the back and said, "Get up there, bro."
I mean, he does this show very good. You have to give him that.
Flake is my bro, and I gave him a ton of hell for rushing me out on that stage. But he knew. If you guys watched the video, he was just sitting there like, "I'm gonna get it later." He did. But, you know, I understand people are waiting. They wanted to go to dinner. I get it. But I do think, the prejudging is an important thing. It's something that I've recommended. I've sent a separate email to LSS. But again, you know, it's up to LSS. And I think even if nothing changes from today, it's still a great competition. They still reward us more than any other company that I can think of, and competition. And, you know, so anytime I send them suggestions, I want them to know that we are incredibly grateful for what they put on, and we love it. And we, you know, but here's how we can continue to make it better when we're able to, you know, like maybe the change doesn't happen tomorrow at the next competition. I hope some of them can, but maybe, and I even said that, I said, some of your competitions are smaller, like we talked about, but you know, your big ones are going to be Worlds. They're going to be Pro Tours. The Pro Tours next year, and they're going to be probably U.S. Nationals, because U.S. Nationals is about the size of a, you know, maybe a smaller Pro Tour. I want to say we had 21 contestants there. So, you know, those are your like 4 for next year at least that you can bank on being big competitions and tough. So maybe those are the ones you aim to like have a cosplayer on panel, etc.
And I mean, the reason the competitions and these events, and like there's also competition in small events, is because LSS is like rewarding cosplay so much.
Yeah, it's driving itself in a good way. You know, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, if you build it, they will come, and so they have. And I think that's awesome. So I just think it's continuing to build upon it. So I know people get, you know, sometimes we hear some upset about how things are, you know, done or run or this or that, whether it's on the game floor or on the stage when it has to go into cosplay. But I think what we should be trying to do as a community is continue to be positive, you know, thank them for what they do, and, you know, continue to give them suggestions when we have the opportunity.
Yeah. So on that note, we have a lot of events coming up next year, and I know that not all callings have cosplay competitions, as we found a few of the stateside ones didn't, because they were run alongside
magic events and other things.
As you said, you guys have the big nationals usually have something. So 18 callings, including Queenstown, which I believe you're going to be attending, Rachel.
Yeah, so I
yeah.
haven't really talked about it much, like, on social media or anything, because I have yet to go buy my $3,500 plane ticket, but I'm about to do it. I'm about to pull that trigger. I know. I'm gonna pull
Carolina
that
dropped
trigger.
you in it. Carolina dropped you
She
in
did.
it.
She called me out, so now I gotta do it. But I did make a lot of promises to a lot of people at Worlds
God.
and talking to my LSS buds and just saying, like, yeah, I'm coming to Queenstown. I'm gonna do it. But it's my birthday is December 31st, so I'm just gonna call it my birthday present. That trip is going to be outrageously expensive, and but luckily I'm saving money. My husband can't go, so I'm going solo for a 10-day trip.
That'll save a lot. That'll save a lot.
That'll save a lot. The solo
Unfortunate,
10-day trip, I'm calling it my Eat, Love, Slay tour. So I'm just gonna go have fun and see your beautiful country.
I'm very pleased that you and Carolina will both be there, and hopefully we'll be able to actually spend some time. In Melbourne, I didn't get to spend too much time with Carolina, so hopefully we'll all get to catch up, and it'll be nice to meet you in person. They haven't announced it yet, but I'm sure there'll be something to do with cosplay down there, because they can't not.
I would be surprised if there was not, and I can tell you I'm already starting work on the cosplay for that event. So
yeah, I've got
yeah.
a few under my belt that I'm working on, so
yeah,
that should be fun. But like 18 opportunities, so that means that cosplayers around the world, like, because callings are quite regional, it's a good place to dip your toe into the water. So that's going to be a great opportunity for a lot of, as I say, we've had a few new ones at Worlds. It is a big event, but if people are a bit tentative, a calling is a great place to start.
Yeah. I mean, if there's a calling in your country and area, I definitely encourage it. It's probably maybe even a little less, scary now walking into a crowd of 1,000 or something, in costume if it's your first time. I know I was terrified my first time at US Nats. I walked out of the hotel room like, I'm about to turn around and walk back in. I'm wearing a steampunk thing covered in lights, and I'm walking through a city. This is so uncomfortable, but I had a great time. So I think that the callings are a really, really great way for people to jump in, and get a feel for it, see if they like it, which I think they're going to like it. I have yet to talk to a cosplayer that did it and was like, oh yeah, I'm one and done. I said I was going to be. I think a lot of us said we were going to be. And, now here we are still doing it all the time.
Yeah, I think local callings also provide the opportunity of, you don't have to get on a plane with this. You can just drive there. Or train, depending on like your country, and if its public transport is any good, unlike mine. But yeah, no, it's it'll be good, and hopefully a large majority of these have cosplay contests. I know I'm hoping Liverpool has one, so I can keep my trend of getting some clips.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Oh, we can't wait to see them. And so, on that note, we've also got both our PTs have been announced, their times, their dates, and their venues. So this is great for all of us to plan ahead. I was hoping to do LA, but I've had to shelf it. So I'll hopefully, I'm waiting to see what the announcements, because he did talk about something in the Asia Pacific area. So I'm crossing my fingers it does not clash with my busy period at work of Halloween.
Did I say that the other place was Amsterdam, or did I read that wrong?
It is Amsterdam.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Amsterdam. Yeah, and they've also put up where it is as well. I don't have those details here, but they can both be found on the LSS page.
Yep.
So this is great for anyone who wants to travel. When I was looking at LA, it wasn't actually too bad, because for New Zealand we have direct flights, so that was not too bad. But so it's having this time to be able to plan ahead, especially when you're a cosplayer with extra stuff, or to plan out how long it's going to take to make these things. It's, I think, really good. I know that it's great for also the competitive players who need to allot time off, or because some people have to give a fair amount of time to get time off as well, and things like that. So it's a great step forward for LSS doing this for the whole community.
Yeah, coming from other games that give us maybe a month for like our cooling level events, having multiple months to plan and like get plane tickets and stuff is really appreciated. I know, like the event I'm going to in 2 weeks now for a different card game, we got the venue and stuff like a month ago, and tickets were on sale a month ago, so it feels a bit rushed. Unfortunately, like, I was going to go to Pro Tour LA, but then I'm adding up the money, I'm adding up the flights, the hotels, the like logistics of food, drink while I'm out there, as well as if I'm making that trip, I might as well make a trip of it, right? I might as well stay for an extra week or something.
What do we say? Play Fab, see the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, where I am at the moment, that's not doable. The money's not quite there. Like I could, but it'd be leaving myself pretty dry. Luckily, Amsterdam is a lot more local and going to be a lot more doable. So I'm gonna focus my efforts on that one instead.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and do both. I'm going to LA for sure. My husband qualified. I did not, but I will be cosplaying. And then Amsterdam is a place I've always wanted to visit, so I'm gonna try and find an excuse to go. I'm trying to. I don't know if the date's been announced for that one yet, but that would be probably towards the summer.
Yeah, I think it's July. I think it's
July. Yeah, so I'm going to try and
Yeah,
go
it's
to
July.
that.
Yeah.
I hope you're a fan of brownies.
I am brownies, very special ones.
I think for me, it's like judge the game, see the world. Like for LA, I want to go, but as a judge for the game, because I can't afford, money's tight. I earn money doing something I enjoy, so I'll try to come there as a judge and cosplay like two events. Like Amsterdam is the next one. I start working on my cosplay now, and then probably the next Worlds.
Yeah.
And the rest, I want to try to, judge all the players.
I got to say, I'm a little jealous that you get to like Amsterdam to make your next amazing costume, because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, okay, I've got a week to make one for next week. I've got however long until Queenstown to make one for the contest.
January.
And then right after that, LA, I've got to make one for LA.
I mean, Rachel, I could be like you, but I choose to not be stressed all the time.
We live in a constant state of self-destruction, apparently.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, my friends said to me when they found out I was making something for next week, and they're like, we were on Armory Night, and they said, Rachel, you don't have to bring a new costume to every single event. But then on the other shoulder, I've got my devil, which is Carolina, and we chat on the side, and we're like, what are you bringing? What are you bringing? So,
Yeah, so it's just a challenge. Come on, you can't not, like, that'd be showing weakness.
Yeah,
it's like a Project Runway. Come on, make it work. Go do it. So.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna work on a small, like, easier cosplays that don't take 200 hours. That I can be like, hey, I want to judge 2 days instead of 3, and then on Fridays or Sundays just walk around in the cosplays and play.
Well, and it's nice when you have lovely cosplays like that you can just be like, you know what, I'm going to bring them. But I will say this, unsolicited advice for the audience of anybody looking to reuse cosplays, because I think it's awesome to reuse cosplays, even if they have one and you're just going to wear them for fun. Make sure that before you put them up for the season, you repair all your damage, because when LSS called me in July and said, we want you to be guest and we want you to bring everything. I'm like, James, you're not serious. And he was like, no, I want you to bring Dash. I want you to bring IO. I want you to bring the mech. And I'm like, the mech. And so I had to spend the last several months not only making Dash IO, but repairing all the damage that I got too lazy and threw it in a suitcase somewhere in the house.
Yeah.
So that's my big advice: is do an inspection when you get home, repair everything, even if you're really exhausted, and then put it away. So you don't know when you'll be called upon to wear it.
You should have told me earlier. I just put them away like 2 hours ago.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. No, you know what? I was taking like my Dash stuff, like all the wires snapped for Dash IO, because I didn't really know what my duties were going to be until I got there for a lot of stuff. And so I had to be on stage with the professor at least the first day for a couple hours. Jacob and I were up there, he was Max. And so we were doing a meet and greet with the professor. So if people came up to see him, they get pictures with us too. But I was up and in and out of the chair every 30 seconds or so, minute or so. So up, down, the wires snapped in the knees. Because this costume, no matter how much I made it for movement, was never meant for that, And so I was sitting there soldering the whole weekend. I was fixing wires and taping them in the casters area. It was pretty nightmarish. So I had a lot when I came home to fix, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know we talked and you're like, yeah, my wire is defect and it just keeps blinking. I hope I don't burn myself.
Yeah, I was really hoping, because I kept snapping. And of course, it's always the negative lead. It's always your ground that snaps. You're like, what? Like, the most dangerous one. I can't just lose power. That would just be fun.
Anyway. All right. So we've had a whole lot of. So we're going to go on to Art That Shouts cosplay. and we've had a lot of new art, and I'm really excited for adult Kasai. Just share screen. I've got the LSS page up. So is that coming in? Yeah. So Kasai, I'm really excited for Kasai. I don't know how anyone else feels about. We'll just do that. I need to see Rachel's face.
Nobody needs to see us.
Oh, why not? So yeah, I'm really excited for Adult Kasai. I am currently working on Adult Kasai for Queenstown. We'll see if I pull it off. I've got 2 costumes I'm working on for Queenstown. So this is my primary one, and I've got a fun one to wear for the hopefully, if I finish it, to wear for the premiere event. So yeah,
she's
that's
gorgeous.
what I'm doing. It's a beautiful,
stunning. She's got a very Wonder Woman vibe to me, and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I saw it, I was like, is this Flesh and Blood, or is this like a DC comic? Like,
she looks so cool. Like, looks Grecian god. Maybe. What I was gonna say about her though is I'm laughing because at the panel on Sunday that I did, somebody asked me the question of, how do you do gravity defying effects? And all I could say was I was a smart aleck. And I said, well, as a 37-year-old woman cosplaying an 18-year-old a lot, I said, Spanx, create gravity defying effects. And all I can think is Kasai up here. Like, that is a gravity defying top. Let's just be realistic. So I'm impressed at, anybody that attempts that, because
man. I was looking at I'm umming and ahhing the Teklo, and obviously Teklo has this little bots that fly around, and I'm like, how would I like, the only thing I can think of is like you like make a backpack with some like clear plastic tubes, and that then that tries that, and that simulates the floating robots. But I'm like, well, and then I'd have to make a suit. I'm a 24-year-old gamer who's like barely knows how to iron a shirt. So
I mean, when I did Dash originally, I had never touched foam. I had never done anything. And I said the same thing. I can't figure that out. I don't know where to even start. And you just figure it out as you go. You make mistakes.
And then there's also a lot of good tutorials online, right?
Yeah, a ton of tutorials. I'm going to be putting out tutorials to help people try and not make the same mistakes I made the first time. But there's so many, good general tutorials out there from just, amazing cosplayers. And one actually did one on how to make floating wings. Just so you know,
oh wow,
like a character, and they had floating wings that they did with lucite that came out of their backpack, kind of like what you're talking about. So you're closer to the solution than you know.
Yeah, I'm a developer myself as my actual day job. So like a lot of my job is problem solving. So I can figure out the problem, but anything creative is where I've been put on.
I'm an auditor. I can tell you the problem. I don't know if I can solve it.
Yeah, I've been put on a design task, which is like a little bit more creative than I'm used to. I'm like, I don't know, man. I can do it. I can't think of what to do. I can figure out how to do it though.
Well, that's a shameless plug for Lynette's Discord. Then come out here and we'll show you.
Yeah.
I mean, like we would make a good team because I'm a craftsman from job. So we have like all the. I mean, Rachel, you can craft well enough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I just like to encourage everyone.
Yeah.
The thing that calls me a Teklo is the mustache with the suit. I really whenever I get an opportunity to wear a suit, like a wedding, formal event, I'm like, let's go. I'm in it. I had a pink suit for a wedding recently. I was looking at this blue suit, and I'm like, I just really want. But then I'm thinking of this arm. I'm like, then like the belt would probably be part of the easiest bit, because you just do like a foam belt and obviously put the details on.
Are you like me and Carolina, where we use our cosplays as an excuse to buy new cute shoes and stuff that we're gonna wear every day? Because you sound really into that suit, like you want to like just.
I mean, I am very much considering just buying a blue suit now, and just, like a blue suit and a blue waistcoat, and doing just like a budget Teklo, where I just go around the event. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm Teklo, man. I'm just wearing a suit, but yeah, I'm Teklo.
She said
I also just really want to act like a pompous twat. all my local players who listen to this are thinking you're already a pompous twat. But I mean, I really want to encapsulate that, like Tony Stark, know it all.
You got to be a method actor. You start now, and by the time you get it done, you'll have it solidified. But yeah, Carolina said to me yesterday that you were the only person I know that's spent like $150 on a pair of boots for next weekend for a cosplay. I'm like, you really think it's because of the cosplay? I just want the boots.
Yeah.
Justifying the purchase. It's a tax write-off.
So me and Chris have popped up what we think were. I know, Rachel, when you think you're thinking of cosplay, or that you'd like to see cosplayed.
Oh, of art? Of, like, what art would I like to see cosplayed, or what I'm working on, or what I want to cosplay?
What? Any of those three.
Well, you know what I'm working on. As you guys know, I never tell anybody in advance what it is, but I give hints up until the day of. Usually, people guess it by then. It is going to be a warrior, but it's not out of the new set. So that's gonna be Queenstown. It's gonna be a warrior. And I actually am doing it because the art is so meaningful to me. I'm also a little bit of a warrior player, but I'm more a mech player. But the art is so meaningful and beautiful and inspiring to me that it was a piece that I said a year ago, I want to do that eventually when I get the skill to do it. And I don't know if I have the skill to do it yet, but we're going to find out by Queenstown. But as far as art I'd like to see cosplayed, you know, I'd like to veer towards something like in the current, like the upcoming set. And I am really digging that barbarian or warrior chick that's like leaping over, and I think she had like, did she have an axe or something? I think it was an axe. The long.
Oh, okay, I know the one.
You know what I'm talking about, guys.
right?
Like,
I know,
she's so
I know
badass, and I want to see that done by somebody that with more muscle than me. Because I don't think.
Come on, you can let's get to the gym. Get those weights out.
Well, you know, it's funny. People were coming up to me this weekend and saying, "Wow, you've got muscles on your arms." And I go, "No, I'm just dehydrated. I need water, please."
It's possibly in here.
Yeah, it'll be.
I can't remember.
I'm trying to remember what the name of the card was.
I know the one. I'm actually working on.
I don't even know if it's a card, right? Like it wasn't just like cover art or something, or
maybe it's
it's the 2 axes. No, it is a card. It's called Runner. I've just got to find it. Because
it looks so cool, just her like dynamic like leap and that, and I was just like, I love a good barbarian chick, even though I don't cosplay them. People always are surprised when I tell them the art I love and stuff. I'm like, because I love it all, you know, for the most part. It's just that I tend to veer towards mech, but because I like the tech stuff. I always want to put tech.
I'll see if I can find it. I've actually got it on my computer.
That
is not a spoiler of why I have it.
Oh, I've got it. This is the good thing of having like a testing circle where you have a whole channel dedicated to the new reveals. You can very quickly scroll up and find them.
The new cards.
Yeah, so it's one of the promos. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it is one. It's called Runner. I'm just.
I'm just saying it in Discord.
Actually, I could probably share the Discord page without giving off too many things. It's that one there. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just go back to here. So let's go back to the share screen, and I should be able to get it there.
Yeah, in general, I'd like to see more like strong chick cosplays and stuff like Valda. I think it's really awesome. I just would like to see more of it. And yeah, that
there it is.
So fun. And I could see that person. The reason I want to see a cosplay is because this contest, bar none, had the most animated people in it as far as like acting out stuff. And I would just love to see like the female version of KO out here like running in and just like rocking it out. Like bonus points if they get a friend that they can like just like jump over.
Just get Flake to lay down. I'm sure he'll be down.
Yeah, just have him lay down. She can stomp on him or something.
He got attacked a couple times. I'm sure getting jumped over will be fine.
I don't know. I don't know why. I think it's just such a dynamic picture and it's fun and she looks fun, and I'd love to see somebody cosplayer that could actually pull it off and have the energy. Maybe to do it.
Someone's got to work on their guns.
Yeah, I am not going to the gun show anytime soon. So because I've said before I love like Valda and I love Earthlore Bounty and stuff, and those would be cool things to make. But I'm like, I cannot pull that off without a good amount of time.
Talk a big game looks like more my body
Yeah,
shape.
yeah. You gotta get the friends to like carry you around, you know, on the chair. We'll put it on wheels. I'll motorize it for you.
I've got a friend in a wheelchair, so I'll suggest it.
I don't think he'd want you to take it though. I was just gonna say.
It'd be fine.
We'll get you one of those scooters.
Anything,
We'll rent.
anything you would like to share, Eser?
Well,
just pop it into the Discord if you want, and then we can share it that way. Or
I'm working on Young Ticklewassen, which is a very simple cosplay, but I'm gonna do the Sailman. I bring a box of a lot of random props and try to sell it to random people. Like, not actually sell it, but like, this is my invention. It's great for this reason, obviously. Wanna pay for it? Like, you can get one when I'm done with it.
Yeah, Young Tekla was like the second. Like, I was like, looked at adult, saw the arms, like, looked at young, and thought, oh, this could be cool. And then maybe you do
very
like
nice classes.
Yeah, and you do like all the different cog works as well.
Yeah,
like because obviously those are his starting ones, and that was before he got famous, right? So it's like you don't have to act like a pompous twat. So it's like I was like, well, maybe I do Young Tekla to begin with, and then I evolve into being Tony Stark.
Yeah, he's I feel like he's more the guy who just sits in his crafting table the whole day and then goes to a competition to show off his new inventions, and everybody tells him, oh, your inventions suck. And then sometimes he's like, yeah.
And then he turns into Ultron because he just got teased as a kid.
Yeah, so there's some pretty cool items and costumey bits he's got as feature on his page. So
just waiting for someone to turn up. I'm just waiting for someone to turn up as Terminator tank.
The prop I'm gonna do first is I don't think anybody actually plays the card, but it's the fuel injector. It's very bright, very shiny in a lot of different metal colors, and I make it so you can unscrew the fuel tank basically and put another one in.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
You should use it to carry your stuff too. Turn into like a little backpack or something. People keep saying to me, you need to like incorporate a way to put your mat tubes and everything.
That's gonna be my Medipack. my
Medipack.
Oh, nice.
Well, to be fair, I think Young Tekla also does have a pack on his belt.
Maybe he's
got something on his belt, I think.
Yeah, he has a small pack.
There's not enough. I was gonna say there's something to be said for the practicality of your costumes. You're the one that did like the belt thing, right, or whatever, with the had like the pockets for all this stuff
with the bottles and stuff.
It's like an apron type style thing.
When I was waiting for stuff to try, I made I had it. Hold on.
Yeah, I think this is so cool because like one of the things that I've been trying to do is make a couple costumes that are more casual where I don't have to worry about pinching wires and everything. And like I want to find ways to like incorporate my deck box or my tube.
This was not part of the cosplay, but it's very nice. But
it could be when you rewear it.
It could be, yeah. This is for playmate, this is for water bottles. This is for like life turtles drawing down pens and stuff, and then inside there's a big one for like phone and money, and the rest is for deck box and other stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you can make it part of your cosplay, that's amazing.
Yeah, one of the costumes that I'm working on has a lot of pouches, and it's not a competitive costume, it's a casual play costume, and it's like pouches galore, and I'm like, yes, this is great.
Yes. Yes, I've modified a quiver so I could put a deck box at the bottom and the mat on the top.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So it's always good to make things multi-useful, So I mean, I think we get to the end of our chat today. What are we looking forward to? I mean, I'm looking forward to Queenstown and whatever they throw in the APAC area coming up. Hopefully, me and Eser will get our special project that we're thinking of doing done. I don't know if he still remembers the idea. It may come in January because we've got Christmas and all those things happening. But what are people looking forward to?
I'm just looking forward to playing more Flesh and Blood. I've only been playing for about a year now, but I am in. When I first started, I was like, oh, okay, I'll dip my toes in it. I started off in 2021. I went up to see my friend in Leeds, and this was conveniently the week of the first UK Nationals. And so he said to me, "Oh, well, why don't you learn this game? There's an event on the Friday, the side event on the Friday, the Super Armory." I'm like, I don't know. Like, I've not played it. It was like 20 quid, which for me at the time was like, I don't want to pay 20 quid for a game I've never played. He's like, I'll pay your entry. I'll give you a deck. I'll teach you Tuesday. So I was like, you've sold me. I love card games, and you're paying for it. So I'm all down. End up going free. My first loss of the day was to Rakano because he killed me on my turn, and I was like, you can do that. And then a year later, someone at my local store was like, hey, I've got these Flesh and Blood demo decks. Anyone want to play them? And I was like, oh, yeah, I've played that game before. Yeah, I'll give it a go. And here we are. Like, I've bought a Tunic. I bought a Crown of Providence. I've bought all the legendaries. I'm like, I'm in, and I'm down for the pro play. Like, it's so refreshing to have a team that creates a game that is so dedicated to the community. Like, obviously, whenever they hit a card, they always explain it. Like, they always say, like with Bullseye's Braces, everyone was like, "No, Isaiah's just lost this incredible pizza. Why did the card just hit free of a kind, or this, that, and the other?" And obviously, they go through and they explain their thought process. They did the same with Stubbies. With like, no, we immediately banned it in Blitz because it was like, I think it was like 60 or 50% of a life total in one turn, but in CC it was like 20, 25, 30, and so we wanted to give you guys the chance to play 5 with Stubbies and then ban it. And compared to some other games I've played, like where they throw out a list and they go, here you go, figure it out. It's really nice to have that explanation. And obviously the cash will always bring people. Like, for the people who are at the top level of their games, like offering cash to be at the same level in a different game is always a good way to bring people over. But then that's how you get people to start, and then you get them to stay with the quality of the games. And obviously we've seen a little bit of the balancing issues with obviously Fab 1.0 and Fab 2.0. And I'm just really excited to see where they go over it. I'm in the long con now. I love the game.
Yeah.
No, every time I now play a different card game, I'm like, yeah, this is boring. Why am I playing this game instead of Flesh and Blood?
I go to my other locals. I'm like, man, I use my Flesh and Blood playmat for my other games. I'm just like, man, I just want to play Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been wonderful having, like, because I finally got my promos for Auckland, and then obviously for Melbourne, because it was only top 4. I was able to get a card that I was able to sell, and that's been a great thing that LSS has done. Is with the support, it means I was able to sell that card to be able to fund my Queenstown trip and cosplay stuff. So it's wonderful, the support they're giving to the whole community, and also with the casual play kits that they've just put out for the different Flesh and Blood places to play, basically. Yeah. So that because we get everyone in as casual, we need our casuals as well as our competitive, and I would love to play competitively, but I seem to lose my thunder halfway through the day, so I've got to work on that. But all of us are here to play this wonderful game, and whatever level we're at. Being competitive is great, though, because it gives you something to aspire to. So it's a great note there.
It's a tough balance to it's a tough like scale to balance. Is you want your game to be enjoyed by the casual players, because those are often the ones funding the product sales, like buying the packs and stuff like that. But also you also want a game that at a competitive level provides a high enough ceiling to where you feel like you've achieved something. Like, you know, you've achieved this level of play that you can be really happy about. And striking that balance is hard, and I don't think they've quite hit the casual play yet. I think as a competitive game, Flesh and Blood is probably the most rewarding game to be good at a competitive level. And I think the casual play with UPF needs some work. I personally am not a huge fan of UPF, but it is getting there, and it'll be really good to see. I would like to see some changes to Blitz because I detest Blitz. It's just if you play competitive Blitz, it's miserable, and
It's very quick games in competitive Blitz. I do understand that, but it's I think Flesh and Blood's doing very good as an overall supporting all of us, and cosplay is not usually something they have to consider when you're building a TCG. I think I kind of pushed it on them by just turning up in cosplay myself to a couple of random places in 2020. And they realized very quickly when they hit the States that the cosplay community, when they find something they love, they will do it. And the US basically ballooned our cosplay group that we have, and everyone else is kind of catching up a little bit, but the European group has grown quite exponentially. So, and the support that we never thought would get has been wonderful.
Yeah, the promos, like if there is one way to get people to interact with a part of a game they don't normally, it's promos that will sell, that will make them some money. Capitalism is king. But honestly, when I saw the cosplay promos for the first time, like when I first saw the Taylor, I was like, wow, that is a really good way to encourage people to cosplay and encourage people to interact with the different aspects of the game. Like even just giving them for top 8, like it's just rewarding people for the effort they put in to like advertise your game outside of playing it. And I think it's really good. LSS know what they're doing. James White knows what he's doing with the community, and I'm all for it.
I mean,
Rachel could probably, Rachel and Eser could probably attest to this though. We probably spend more money than we actually get building the cosplays.
I mean, without my first Taylor, I would not have been able to do Riptide or Prevent. Like,
yeah, I can't. I've watched some videos on like obviously cosplayers for other games and just obviously like MCM and stuff like that in general. And it is like I hear the price and I'm like, I play 2 card games. I can't do that. But
yeah, even the cheapest costumes can get quite pricey. I've asked people asked me before what I've spent on certain cosplays, and I'm like, it's really, really hard to quantify because of the amount of like specialty tools I've got and different things because of the types of cosplay that I do. So it's, yeah, I think the tailors have definitely helped. I mean, I have, or had, because I sell them sometimes as I have 4. So I'm like,
yeah.
And yet when I say that, because it's a lot, let me tell you, sadly, I think I've spent more.
More than, yeah. This is $100 worth of plastic for a reference, Chris.
Yeah, that's a black warbler.
That's $100 black colored and some clear in the middle, but yeah, that's $100 worth of plastic.
Yeah, I'm having a crisis right now deciding whether or not I want to do my warrior and full warbler.
Yeah.
It's like,
you're coming to Queenstown in the middle of summer, so just keep that in note, and it's one of the hottest places.
Yeah. I'm planning some parts of like my next cosplays to do in like real leather. So I'm also like looking at a price, be like, yeah, but it's just, when you have nice material that you can work with, that
I don't know,
like looks also nice when you're done with it. It is worth the money if you but it doesn't mean that if you use like cheaper materials, you can't achieve great cosplays. You can, if you're creative with what you do, you can do great stuff.
Yeah, I think it becomes a difference between
expensive stuff.
Between you can do a great costume, but it might not last as long as you'd like. If you were to like make it out of cardboard versus if you make it out of like Warbler.
That's the whole thing. Is a lot of things in life is you get what you pay for. So like, but if you just want to do one event and you're on a budget, there is nothing stopping you making a great cosplay. You just have to take some liberties, or you have to get creative, and obviously then that will come across in judging. Like the people will see what you've done with what you've had, and they will give you credit for it. I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, my first cosplay was made out of duct tape and things I found around the house, and signboard plastic stuff. it looked fine, but I've upgraded it. That's the thing you can do as well. You can start small and upgrade.
Upgrades, people, upgrades. In the words of robots and Tekla-Boston, upgrades, people.
All right. So, shall we talk socials? Anyone got socials they'd like to share?
Yeah, I suppose as the one wearing their socials, I'll go first. So my personal one is the Red Flash 11 on X, and Cardboard Swords is the YouTube channel I am typically on. It's not mine, but it's my friend's, and he does a lot of editing. And basically, I just say, "Here you go. Here's some footage. Do with it what you please." If any of the cosplayers who see their clips on Cardboard Swords or on this video would like their clips, please feel free to DM me on Twitter or on Discord. On Discord, I'm the Red Flash with no 11. I've since graduated from my numbers online. Yeah, I've upgraded. But yeah, that's me and my community.
Eser?
I'm on Twitter or X, depends on what you prefer, and you can find me under Eser Cosplay. Very easy.
Rachel, and you can share your future ventures if you wish.
Yeah, so Max Ferocity across all social media, Discord, Twitter, X, whatever we call it, Instagram. I keep it real simple. It's going to be the same screen name everywhere. And then I do have a YouTube channel that I put out there when I did my first video, spoilers, that hopefully will get its first videos right after the brawl, and it is called Pour the Mold. But I think you can also find it under like Max Ferocity, like under my name itself. But it will be geared on how-tos, tutorials, vlogs of what I'm working, a little bit of everything, but basically, whereas this is, we talk social here amongst each other, this will be more like, hey guys, here's what I'm working on. Here's some lessons I've learned. Here was my experience at this previous event. And any advice I have. I may not be what I would consider to be a pro or an expert, but I have done enough of it to where I'm like, I get so many questions. I hear so many pitfalls that I'm like, you know what, if even one person watches and goes, oh crap, I was going to do that. Don't do that. And I save you from your armor or something like that right before painting, then I have accomplished my goal. So.
Yep. And again, I'm Fabled Hero NZ basically everywhere. Please hit me up if you've got questions. Also, don't forget we have a Facebook page where we try to share as much with the community, or you can ask questions. If you want to dip your toes, we're always welcome to invite people that ask the question on that page. We'll send you a DM and pop you into our Discord. It's everybody who wants to do cosplay is welcome to join us in the Discord. And please comment, subscribe. I'm trying to grow this a little bit, and if there's something you want to see us cover in the future, by all means drop a comment and we'll try and bring it back through. So thank you all, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekends, and that's us, the Shapeshifters of Rathe.